Rolling. Hey. All right. Cool. I can take these off. So filming by myself. I've got to check my own audio, so hopefully it'll be sweet. Hi, my name's Josh, and I've filmed quite a few music videos over the last couple of years, and I want to show you in just a couple of steps how you too can film a really cool music video in only 6 hours on little to no budget. Let's go. So step one, find a band or musician. You're gonna obviously need this if you're gonna make a music video. Maybe you can write the music yourself, I'm not sure. Maybe you know someone. Maybe it's going onto Facebook, asking your friends, hey, do you know someone that knows someone that knows someone? Direct messaging bands that you find on social media that might be inclined to let you make their music video. All you need to do is find one. For the purpose of this video, I'm gonna base it off a friend of mine who we recently made a music video for, Future Junior.
It's gonna be a good day.
Yeah. Which I'll link the full video below, but here's a quick little snippet for you.
Tell me that I'm wrong. You got to get it going. Tell me that I'm wrong.
So step two. Coming up with the concept and the design and the idea for the music video. This is a good place where it's kind of story or performance, depending which way the band wants to go and which way you want to go, is really going to be the deciding factor here. I like to go a bit more performance route when there's zero budget for this music video, as it's going to be mainly performance, which is the band which will be rocking up every day to the set and giving that all. So that's going to give you usually the best results. Definitely don't compromise though. So what I mean by that is just because you're doing things for free, it should be a mutual benefit. Some people think that if you're doing something for them, they're helping you more by letting you do that, but that's never the case. Remember, you should always be benefiting as well. Even if they do sell a really good thing saying it'll benefit you heaps, just remember that mutual benefit factor is really important because it is your time and you are worth something. And if you're already willing to do something for free, make sure you're getting something out of it, whether it's a technique, a learning ability, just make sure it's gonna be worth your time as well. So with this video and the Future Junior Tell Me That I'm Wrong video, we decided to go pretty heavy performance, but we got a bit artistic with the idea of the story element. So we definitely still wove in this element that there's a girl. She was the main actress highlighted in the video. And we showed some pretty dramatic effects with the confetti going in reverse a lot of the times in super slow motion. That was our way of getting our little artistic touch on it and really just breaking up the performance element so it's not just a straight performance element. So now we've got the concept, the idea, we need to go to step three, the locations. Where are we gonna film this? What's possible with no money? Biggest tip, which I urge so many people to do, is ask and you shall receive. It literally works so much more often than you realize it would. Our locations were 100% free. We didn't have to pay for the locations. So our first location we actually called was amazing. They said they love supporting local artists. They love supporting little indie filmmakers, which is like awesome to know that there's people out there. So props to them, they're awesome. So all they said is if we just pay for the cost of a normal rollerblade hire, which was I think $20 per person, we can have the whole place for 3 hours for free. The whole place. We can take care of the lighting, the music, do whatever we want. And that was like awesome. We're like, we're gonna be blowing up confetti, we're gonna be running rampant, we're gonna be playing noise. And they're like, no worries. The outside of the location where we wanted to start this music video, where we planned the girl to come up and then the real interaction happen at the start so the viewer would know, oh, this is the main girl, this is the main guy. We needed a big open roller rink outside. That was that real aesthetic and the vibe that we were after, and we found one. But that one was on the other side of town. I think it was an hour and 10-minute drive away, which was pretty crazy. To make it look like we've spent more money, to make it look like this is a big budget project, is always putting in effort. That's the key, effort. And then we talked about it and we're like, that's a great idea, let's do it. Let's get up a bit earlier, let's go film that there, then drive all the way across town and film the rest in 3 hours in this ice skating rollerblade rink as quick as we can. And we'll make it look good. Now, step four, this is my favorite part. I love gear, I love nerding out it. I think like most people, we're on the blogs, we're looking up, how do I get this? And then you get very discouraged because as soon as you Google how much that light costs or how much that camera costs, you're like, how am I ever gonna afford that? So my biggest tip in this area is use what you have. If it's a mobile, if it's an iPhone 10 with a moment lens like I showed in my previous video, or you can just use the phone by itself, your DSLR, your Sony mirrorless camera, whatever you have. We used a Canon C100 Mark II, which is what I personally own, and also a 1DX Mark II. Now that was from another mate that owned that. That was because he had the super slow motion, which is awesome. Really gear, it doesn't matter too much. Obviously use the best you have. That's pretty much the easiest, or the best you can get. That takes us to step 5, which is the crew and the talent and everyone in front of the camera. Now these were all just mates we knew, which we just called up. We asked around, we're like, hey, do you want to come on my film? I'll help you out on yours later. That's usually a good way to trade amongst your friends that are into film. But they don't necessarily need to be into film. If you've got mates that are just interested in it, want to help you out, ask them as well. You'll be surprised how much they can actually help you on set. And it's really good. The more hands you have, the easier it is. And food is awesome. I got super pumped. Puff pastry pizzas out again from Domino's. So good. Puff pizza! I buy that for everyone all the time. It was out for a while, so we had to switch. We were just getting like Macca's and Subway. But then puff pastry's back, so every set I'm on, puff pastry all around. It's the best pizza. Comment below if you think puff pastry is the best as well. Step 6, how to actually film this thing in the time lot we have. So I said we can do this in 6 hours, and I'm gonna show you how we did it. We started off by going to the first location, drove out there, filmed that location. Now that went overtime, purely because the gimbal, we tried to balance my camera on this gimbal and it just was not working. Even though the Xion crane states it can hold the weight, it was just too top heavy and just wouldn't balance. So that set us back instantly.
Trying the C100 with the gimbal, with the Xion crane. Never know what's gonna happen.
And I have never been on a film shoot that's worked smooth and perfectly at all. There's always something that goes wrong. I like it when it happens at the start because it kind of gets everyone switched on, everyone start coming up with solutions and ideas. So we quickly, once it wasn't working, we took it off, we put the 1DX Mark II on and just got that to balance and it worked fine and that was great. But we kept going, and then once we finally wrapped there, we jumped in the cars, drove over to the other location, and then when we got there, we actually had lost half an hour. So we had 2.5 hours now to film the rest of the music video. So that was pressure on. So what we did is we quickly set everyone up, we assessed the location, and we figured out quite quickly, we're gonna start here. Now, the best thing to do when you know where you're filming is multi-shoot. So you do one setup, shoot 2 cameras from one angle, shoot another 2 from the other angle, move on. And you just run the track back to back. Because so then in about 6 to 8 minutes, you've got 4 takes of that performance and then you can move to the next setup. Because the more setups you have, the more production value you're gonna bring, the more interesting it's gonna be. When you take it back to the edit, you're gonna have more options to switch between to keep the viewer interested. Because like I said, we only had a couple of key slow motion reverse shots to do. So we wanted to spend a couple of minutes on those, rehearsing those, getting those right. But in the edit, we could only cut to that so much because we only had, I think, 8 confetti cannons. So once they were used, that was 8 shots and that was it. Filming the setups as much times as you can and make them as different as possible. If you feel good about them, switch the lighting around, make it look different. Whether if you're in one location and it's just like 4 walls like this room, move the lighting around to change the dramatic lighting around to make it look cooler. Change the focal length on your lens, move around. Don't just get the same back and forward shot. Because when you're editing, everything will start to get old and look the same to the audience and the viewer, and you want to keep it captivating, especially when you're on a tight time limit and budget. Another thing we did is we got another mate to run around with the other friends that were on set and just film B-roll stuff, which was definitely a certain aesthetic for the music video, being in a roller rink, being that vibe. So he just went around, just grabbed his little camera. He had a little GH4, I think. So he was off filming that. While that was happening, we were filming the performance elements, getting the confetti shots going, and we just pumped it out, and we managed to do it all in the 2.5 hours. Actually, I think we did it in 2 hours and 10 minutes, packed up as well. So we actually went ahead of time. And that was probably due to the little mistake at the start, not getting the camera balance. It really kicked us all into gear and we will go from there. That brings me to step 7. That's those key moments. So because we were doing a performance piece, we came up with these key elements, these key moments to give a bit of an artistic edge to the whole video. So that was with the girl and Future Junior, the main singer, bringing in those story beats in a really artistically different way so the viewer can take away what they think it means, because that's the whole point of film. It's you're making something, you're putting it out there, and the audience decides what they think of it. The audience is going to decide what you're trying to get across at the end of the day. Now we're on to step 8, the edit. Now this is where everything kind of comes together. Without editing, you got to be creative. You got to mix it up. You got to keep cutting shots. Don't try and go back to the same shot too much unless it works and it's interesting. And never forget the color grade is so important. I've seen little cheap cameras look $1 million because the lighting and color grade was so awesome, and that's what we did. We bulked film grain on this to really help the vibe. We did some cool edit techniques. So that doesn't really count in the 6 hours, but now, once you've edited it all together, you're pretty much done and you've filmed a whole music video in under 6 hours. You've edited it in probably a day or two, and you've learned so many techniques, and you've spent little to no money, and you've made yourself a music video.
Yeah! Give yourself a round of applause.
Yeah, so I hope you like these videos. I hope it was a little bit helpful. If you've got any questions, comment them below. Comment below your music video. I'll check it out. And you can check out the link below. I'll list a couple of the other music videos we did with Future Junior. And if you've got any questions on those, ask them as well. But otherwise, maybe subscribe. I'm going to be releasing a lot more videos, a lot more regularly. But we'll see how we do it, because I do make films for a living, so I'm a bit busy. But I like YouTube. It's fun.